Oh, my back is killing me, Jesus.
Oh my God.
Live from the studios at the University of Kansas, you are watching KUJH TV News.
Can't stand being in class on a beautiful Friday afternoon? Well, dread no more because the 5-day school week may become a thing of the past.
Are you tired of sitting in traffic on the way to grabbing dinner? Well, a Ride app has joined the fast food delivery game and is taking Lawrence and KU's campus by storm.
And forest fires on the West Coast left families without homes and neighborhoods in ruins. What it could mean for us here in the Midwest.
Good afternoon, I'm Ellen Terhune.
I'm Harold Johnson.
And I'm Grant DeMars. Welcome to KUJH News. In 1996, Douglas County and the Lawrence Fire Department decided to merge emergency medical services, or EMS, into one department. The LFD runs the services for the county, but the county funds it all. KUJH reporter Zach Fisher has been covering this story. Zach, what is the big issue here?
The big issue is the county and the city have not updated their agreement since 2000. In the original 1996 agreement, the city paid more than 73% of EMS services, which is more than $5 million. The county covered slightly more than 26%. The city uses services more because the city population is greater than the rest of the county. In October of 2000, the city and the county made a 1% adjustment to those rates. Those percentages have not changed in 18 years, a large increase in the number of calls. 2017, 9,000 calls were made, which is reported 4,000 more than in 1997. At this City Commission work session, the mayor addressed how the funding is becoming inequitable for the citizens of Lawrence.
The nature of the services have changed as well. There's a greater percentage of medical calls and a lesser percentage of fire calls.
Yeah. The interim fire chief says the city and county need a new agreement. He also says the county's current percentage is not fair, but he's not sure the exact dollar amount the rest of the county should pay.
That'll be something that the commissions and the county commission will come together and determine that amount. But we just believe that at this time it's greater than the 25.64% that's currently being allocated for EMS provision within the county.
The next step in amending this agreement is taking the issue to the county commission. Mayor Stuart Bully says that he wants to get Eudora and Baldwin involved in the conversations.
The wildfires in California have claimed 50 lives so far and destroyed thousands of structures. Now a new fire has started in Southern California and it sparked many questions about where the fire has all originated. Almar Jimenez reports.
Nearly 1 week later, the question remains, what sparked the two fires burning through California? State regulators are investigating two utility companies. Both of them reported incidents shortly before the fires sparked, but there's still a long way to go in those investigations.
It's very methodical when you do an investigation for a wildfire. They literally go to an area and they'll grid it off, usually 1 by 1 foot, 1 square foot, and they'll start sifting through everything in there, trying to find out what it is, where it came from, if it's supposed to be there, it's not supposed to be there.
And Tuesday, a new blaze. The Sierra fire spread quickly, fanned by Santa Ana winds and feeding on heavy vegetation.
We are not fully out of the woods yet.
In the worst of times, we begin to see the best of people. Bridget Randall lost her home in Paradise, but organized a free clinic at this pop-up shelter in Chico.
It started with us literally writing on a trash bag of people's prescriptions and medical needs and trying to call them the prescriptions.
It's a family, and I feel so much love. God is love.
And some of Malibu's most famous residents also did their part, visiting the Red Cross and handing out food.
We as a community are going to do our utmost to help ourselves, but that there is sometimes an image of Malibu that people like me are there more than other people, and there's a lot of people who need help.
To the most destructive fire in the state's history. If you're interested in helping out nonprofits like the American Red Cross and the Wildfire Relief Fund are always accepting donations. Brittany, this is a very devastating fire. Is it affecting the weather at all?
Not here. It's not affecting us in Kansas, but in California, the weather certainly is not helping the situation there. I want to show you guys a current satellite imagery shot, and basically what this does is it's showing us the current cloud conditions. You can actually see the ridge. This is what this is called right here, that is helping feed the flames for this fire. A lot of the moisture is on the eastern side of the United States, and we are very dry over on the west coast. So that dry weather and those high winds are really helping keep those fires going. And actually, you can even see the fires on the satellite imagery. This little black dot right here is one of the fires in Northern California. So we can actually detect these, and NASA, I know, is sending out a lot of interesting photos as well. But these fires are going to keep going due to the weather the next few days. Here, though, we are very dry in Kansas. We have a mostly clear skies because of the dry weather, no clouds for us, and very chilly conditions at 39 degrees. Still feeling like winter, but a warm-up is on the way. We're going to go back to the 50s. I'll have more information on that later on. Ellen?
If some of you still go to school 5 days a week, students in many other school districts across the U.S. have already started the 4-day school week. KUJH reporter Aksenia Kachigina is live in the newsroom. Aksenia, how does this 4-day schedule work?
Ellen, implementing the 4-day school week is a growing trend in the U.S. among rural schools. The school days now start 15 minutes early and end 45 minutes later. Students and school employees get Fridays off. The National Conference of State Legislators says about 560 districts in 25 states have at least one school on the 4-day schedule. Southeast Kansas is one of them.
State law requires school districts to provide the same amount of instructional time over fewer days to qualify for the 4-day school week. Schools on a 4-day schedule operate Monday through Thursday. PhD student of special education Turki Zahrani says implementing the 4-day school week can improve students' attendance and give more free time for teachers.
They don't have enough time to plan their lessons because they have to plan their lessons outside the school. So this day will be beneficial for teachers to plan and reflect on what they have done throughout the week.
A shorter week can also reduce some school costs. Education Commission of the state says the maximum possible cost savings for districts on a 4-day week is 5.43%. The average savings range from 0.4 to 2.5%. Cost savings might help recruit new teachers in areas where hiring is most difficult. The 4-day school week can also be a challenge for some families. Zahrani says this could affect some low-income families with finding affordable daycare alternatives for their kids on Friday.
The other part is, I'm really concerned about, is low-income students won't have access to meals in the 5th day of the week, which may be disadvantageous for them.
Zahrani says schools can offer non-academic enrichment activities for students on Fridays to avoid any problems. Plus, this will help schools better connect with their students and learn more about their talents.
Although many 4-day week schools are in rural districts, in recent years some urban districts have begun to consider the option of a shorter week. While Kansas does have 7 school districts that have already adopted this 4-day week, the superintendent from the Lawrence School District says they're not doing or considering it. Live in the newsroom, Aksenia Kachigina, KUJH News. Back to you guys.
Some Wichita parents are upset after a school bus driver refused to take their children home. The bus driver says she refused to deliver the kids, pulled over, and stopped after she told them that they were being too loud and misbehaving. When the kids did not come home at the usual time, parents started to worry. A school representative did eventually call and explain. The representative says the driver followed the policy at the time of the incident and did the right thing. The parents disagree, saying the schools could have handled the situation differently. They say the schools should have called the parents at the moment the situation happened.
Say you're just too tired to fix your dinner or even go out. Well, a new dining option is driving Lawrence to stay at home. KUJH reporter Lily Stewart tells us this Meals on Wheels type of program isn't just for senior citizens.
I said I had an Uber pickup.
2 months after its Lawrence debut, Uber Eats is booming with business. Over the past 2 weeks, Uber drivers across the area have received more requests for food than rides. Last Sunday, DeJuan Jones received 13 Uber Eats requests. No rides.
Especially on the weekends, the number of rides have gone down and the number of Uber Eats have gone up, especially McDonald's, late at night, after midnight. It's just been booming,
Jones and other Uber drivers aren't the only ones noticing the increase. McDonald's manager Hope Evans says after adding Uber Eats, the McDonald's on 6th Street has seen a huge increase in business. Shockingly, more than 70% of the customers are college students.
I like the convenience of having food brought to my door and being able to answer the door in my pajamas without having to go drive for food.
To avoid that extreme hassle of driving through the drive-thru, You just call up the Uber app and enter your order.
It comes to me or the driver, and I hit accept and I pick it up.
More than 20 Lawrence eateries have hopped on the Uber Eats Express. It's simple and easy to use, but it will cost you. In Lawrence, Lily Stewart, KUJH News.
Uber Eats charges a pickup fee, drop-off fee, and a distance charge. Normally, it will cost you $3 to $5 to use this service.
You know, this is the perfect season for Uber Eats because you don't even have to leave your house and the food just comes right to you.
No, Grant, I'm good because I've never used a delivery service in my life. I've never even been in an Uber. I'm definitely good. They can keep it.
Well, I'm definitely a fan of Uber, but still to come on KUJH News, it's the week after the midterms and the changes keep coming. Sessions is gone, the final polling numbers are slowly coming in, and now CNN has filed a lawsuit against the White House.
And it is the season of thanks and loved ones, but what does this mean for travel and airline companies? That and more from across the nation when we come back. Stay with us.
Maybe you can make retirement happen. After all, you made her college years happen. Opening that education savings account when she was little. Spearheading a campus tour. And another, and another, and another, and another. Bam! Deciphering financial aid. She was like, what? But now she's like, you aced planning for college. Now get the tips you need to get on track at aceyourretirement.org.
I want some more.
What's he doing?
Please, sir, I want some more.
More? He has asked for more!
Thank you.
Well, he did say please. Yes, he did. And thank you.
Please, and thank you. Pass it on.
Thank you.
The first wave of Central American migrants from the group that formed last month have now reached the U.S.-Mexico border. Many with the goal of crossing into the U.S. now literally in sight, but the Trump administration's stance hasn't changed. John Lawrence reports.
About 100 migrant men, women, and children are now in Tijuana, where they wait at a shelter, hoping to cross into the U.S. for a better future. They are the first of a much larger group to reach the border.
That they can give their kids an education, that they can actually be free from violence and rape and murder. And it sounds extreme, but that's exactly what's going on here.
Some of the migrants traveled more than 2,000 miles, but the Trump administration hasn't budged an inch, assigning 5,900 troops to the border region, according to one defense official.
No nation can allow its borders to be overrun, and that's an invasion.
Two members of the administration will visit parts of the Texas border Wednesday. Homeland Security Secretary Kirstjen Nielsen will tour with the Northern Command. Defense Secretary James Mattis will be in McAllen, taking note of expenses.
We'll update you on costs as they become known. Obviously, the units executing the border mission have got to report them in up here, but we are capturing the cost.
Critics of the White House say having troops on the border because of the migrants is a mistake.
Using our troops as political pawns for his political interests, it's just wrong.
I am not really interested in the politics. I'm interested in how we as people can learn to embrace the immigrant.
I'm John Lawrence reporting.
Aid groups say the remaining members of the caravan are still more than 1,000 miles away from the U.S. border.
Activists are calling for a full investigation into the shooting of Jamel Robinson in an Illinois bar last Sunday. Robinson, who was guard at the bar, shot back at a man who opened fire inside. When police arrived, an officer shot Robinson thinking he was the shooter. The officer is now facing a lawsuit which called the shooting excessive and unreasonable, saying it violated Robinson's civil rights. Activists are calling for a complete economic boycott of the city of Midlothian, Illinois. CNN has filed a lawsuit against President Trump and top White House aides after they removed reporter Jim Acosta's press credential. The administration says his actions caused unnecessary disruptions in the daily press briefings. This happened after Acosta was reportedly aggressive during a press conference with other reporters. The network contends its violation of his First and Fifth Amendment rights. If you plan to fly home for the Thanksgiving holiday, that might be harder than usual. Thanksgiving Arab travel this year will likely be the busiest day of the year so far. The Thanksgiving period runs from November 16th to the 27th. Airlines for America says Sunday, November 25th, will be the most traveled day of the year. 1.5 million more people than last year will be flying. Airlines are preparing by adding more flights in the upcoming week. And that's your look from news from across the nation.
And besides eating, my second favorite part on Thanksgiving Day is waking up and watching the Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade. The parade brings fun performances and floats, but what can we expect for this year?
Listen, you're my friend.
I noticed you haven't really been yourself recently.
Yeah, I feel like something's up.
How are you?
Are you okay?
Is there anything you want to talk about?
I just want to know how you're feeling.
And listen, even if you don't know what to say, I'm here to talk.
No matter what you're going through,
I just want you to know I'm here.
I've got your back. When you want to talk, I'm here. Jessica, we need to leave right now.
I need to get something. Dance recitals are so boring.
There's a meaning no one knows. Waiting to be set
So,
free.
what's the empty suitcase for?
The grand prize trophy.
Duh.
Confidence. Pass it on.
I was born to be somebody.
Well, these past few days have really felt like winter for majority of Kansas. We've had snow that has fallen on the ground, and actually you can see it in satellite imagery melting right now. Today we've made it above freezing. We're at a temperature of 39 degrees, so the snow is really starting to melt, as you can see in that video as it plays. The snow is diminishing all across Kansas, but it's not too bad. We're a little bit warmer than it has been the past few days. We have, like I said, reached above freezing, but we will drop fairly quickly as the night progresses. 34 degrees by 5 o'clock, and eventually we'll get to 23 degrees by 9 o'clock tonight with clear skies lasting all night. But it's going to be even colder when you wake up and head out the door tomorrow morning. And 19 degrees is the temperature as you head out, so definitely have the heavier clothing on as you walk out tomorrow morning. Here are your weather-led high. Chilly but beautiful today. This weekend will be a small warm-up with flurries as well. So snow is not just really out of the forecast. And the next week we will warm up back to average. The 50s are back in the forecast. And here's why. We have that ridge that will continue to push through the area. This low pressure system will really move out, which you call it a trough. And the warmer temperatures are right here, giving us the next few days. But it won't be just warm enough this upcoming weekend to give us that chance of snow out of the area. Saturday and Sunday we have some flurries possible in the forecast, and you can see the chance of snow really won't be that much, just a little bit of snow falling, and temperatures will be above freezing on Saturday. Here's your 7-day forecast. We will warm back up though for the start of next week, 40s and even 50s by next Thanksgiving. Back to you.
Finally, you might notice some new faces making their debut at the annual Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade. 400 kids got a preview of a few of the new floats, including the Ninja Turtles, Elf on a Shelf, and Kinder Chocolate Factory. Each float takes a crew roughly 18 months to design and build. These new additions will be part of the more than 100 attractions in the parade. Millions of people will tune into NBC Thanksgiving morning to join the celebration.
And that's your KUJH News for Wednesday.
To view our stories again or to share them with your friends, visit our website at tv.ku.edu.
And check us out at Friday at 3 for the latest news, weather, and sports.
Thank you for joining us. Have a great evening.
Yeah.